I want to know what's true so I'll know what to do that is right. This is Steve Ridgell talking a little bit about how we know what really is true and what really is right. And I talked in the last video about how some people want to be the arbiter of truth. I'll decide what is right and what is true. And of course, the problem with that is none of us are infallible. And all of us have limited experiences, so what we think is true may not be. And of course, the other problem is none of us live on an island by ourselves. At least I don't think so. And so if you're living in community with other people, neighbors, friends, family, what if one person decides this is true and the person they live around says, no, this is true, and you've got conflict? Well, the easy answer is we'll just do a collective kind of a culture decision about what's true. Communities and cultures will decide what's true. And once we decide, we will say, here's truth. And if you do this, you'll live right and we'll all live together and get along. And the only problem with that is, well, if you decide to let culture tell you what is true and right, you will never know what is true and right. In fact, I would tell you, if culture determines what is true, there is no truth. And here's why I believe that. Right now, our culture is getting it right on race. Okay, that's great. And you know, there was a time in this country where slaves were owned, and that was a cultural right. Well, we would say now it's wrong, but then it was right in culture. Well, but we're right now. And we're getting it right on same-sex marriage, except go back 50 years and culture said that was wrong. So was there truth then and same-sex marriage is wrong? Is there truth now and it's okay? How do you know what's true and what's right? What if culture changes 100 years from now and goes back to same-sex is wrong? Or one wife is the right way to go, or one mate? Or what if you're in a culture that says you can have more than one mate? Which culture is right? Or even in our world today, you have one culture here that says this is right, and you travel 1,000 miles away, and what you was right here is wrong there. So which one's right? Well, right depends on, and truth depends on, and it may be true here. If you're going to let culture decide what is right and true, here's the only thing you're ever going to know. That there is no truth, and what is true today may not be true tomorrow, and what is right today may not be right tomorrow. And so you can never know for sure that what you believe is right or true. All you can say is right now, right here today, this is true. But I can't really teach it to my kids because by the time they grow up, it might not be true anymore. And so culture's never really the way to decide what's right or wrong or true, because culture changes its definition about truth and about what is right, and it changes it often. Just look at history. And so many times we can point back and say, that culture was wrong. Germany under Hitler, what a flawed culture. But if culture decides what's right and what's wrong, how can you say they were wrong because that was their culture? And somebody says, yeah, but sometimes the culture's wrong and the individuals will get it right. So you're back to the I'll decide what's right. Both of them problematic to me. So I don't think an individual can really know what is true and right, and I certainly don't think culture can define what is true and what is right. So this is Steve Ridgell saying, so far I'm not willing to believe myself or my culture to tell me what is absolutely true and what is right.